What's good, everyone? This is JMB434 back with another episode of NXT Back to Black and Gold. Now, I do apologize about this review coming up a little bit late. It's again due to circumstances that's outside of my control, but I'm going to get up now for you. We are going to go back to the regular scheduling. There will be an episode I'll be dropping tomorrow and the day after and the day after. So I'm pretty much all yours now for the next couple of days. Show starts. The return of Trent Beretta, who we haven't seen in 6 months, unfortunately down to a torn bicep. He goes one-on-one with Johnny Curtis. Beretta looked in fucking good shape, I can't lie to you. Beretta starts with a takedown. Curtis fights back with a kick to the stomach. Trent responds with a chop. Then Curtis knocks down Trent with a shoulder block. There's a bit of a back and forth match with both men. Trent goes to the top rope. Curtis then counters and he works on the arm. Curtis works relentlessly onto the arm of Beretta. Beretta fights back with some two shots to the abdomen. Curtis regains control with a knee for a 2 count. Curtis put Beretta to the top rope. Trent fights back with some shots to the back. Beretta hits a lovely sunset flip from the top rope for another near fall. Beretta hits a few chops before Curtis hits the shot to the guts and then hits his lovely enziguri. Trent hits a lovely elbow to the face and goes to the top rope and hits like a whisper in the wind. That's for another near fall. Beretta attempts a tornado DDT off the top to be countered to a back suplex to the lower turnbuckle for another near fall. Curtis goes to the top rope and attempts a light drop but missed. Trent hits a lovely Psycho knee for a 3 count. Not a bad match. It's good to see Trent back, though, after a long spell out. Trent Beretta was so good, man. Another fumble by WWE. We have a women's match. Yeah, you heard. We have another women's match. Paige going one-on-one with Alicia Fox. Now, there's one can wrestle and the other one can. Paige hopefully is coming back to WWE, whereas Alicia Fox, now known as Victoria Crawford, now down in TNA. Match starts with a lockup. Fox starts with an arm drag for a 1 count. Paige hits an arm drag of her own. Let's try and get the crowd going by screaming a lot. Yep, I like that. Fox works onto the top. And Paige counters with the several roll-ups. She goes for a backslide again for 1. Attempts for another roll, and that's for a 2 count. Fox attempts to attack Paige. Paige scares her, screams at her, and then she falls flat on her ass. Funny. Fox stops Paige, and it makes Paige more angry and hits a few rights. Fox gains some offense with a tilt-a-whirl backbreaker for a 2 count. Fox gains control with some stomps and gets a snapmare for another 2 count. Paige fights back with some rights and attempts a slam as her back gives away. Fox hits a fisherman's suplex, a fisherwoman's suplex in a nutshell, and that's for a 2 count. Fox works onto the back with a knee. Fox applies a chin lock and slams her face to the mat. Works again on the neck and head area. Fox applies the knees to the back. Paige fights back with some rights. Comes back with some clotheslines. Then Fox counters with an elbow. Crowd was really getting into this match. Paige was firing up the crowd quite a lot. Paige then goes for a roll-up. But then she countered it into the Paige Turner for 3 count. Paige is so over at the time, man. I hope to God she comes back to WWE soon. Remember, she's a Triple H girl. So we'll get to one thing that happened with Paige. That'll be down the line. Next up, the feud with the Usos and the Ascension continue. Conor O'Brian goes one-on-one with Jimmy Uso. Lock up to start. Conor overpowers Jimmy into the corner. Jimmy dodges a right. Conor gets a chop in. Jimmy hits a chop of his own and takes him down. Jimmy hits a headbutt. This is another 2 count. Conor gets back into it by sending Jimmy to the outside. Conor hits Jimmy outside and charges him into the apron. Jimmy goes back into the ring. Conor pounds away and hits a really nice elbow drop. That's for a 2 count. Conor continues with some slams to the mat and applies a side headlock. Jimmy hits an elbow, but gets overpowered by Conor again. Conor gets a near fall and applies for another side headlock. Jimmy fights back with some rights. Jimmy comes back again with some clotheslines and hits a Samoan drop for a 2. Jimmy then gets Conor into the corner and hits the ass attack. Jimmy then goes to the top to be distracted by Kenneth Cameron. Jay tries to get involved and leads to Jimmy being distracted. As Jimmy falls off to the top rope, Conor hits a double knee drop kick to the head and then gets the 3 count. Now, the way they were pushing the Ascension back then was pretty cool. It's just a shame that they never really, this version of the Ascension, then the next version of the Ascension just did not make it. I wonder why. Vince McMahon. Bruce Pritchard. Ascension continued their assault at the end with an attack on Jay, and that was the end of the match or segment. Riley Pierce backstage with Bo Dallas says that there's finally an NXT champion and saying that there is an exciting time going on in NXT. Bo gets cut off by Michael McGillicuddy. McGillicuddy said that nobody cares about Bo and tells him to take a hike. McGillicuddy attempts to cut a promo on Seth to be attacked by Bo, and then both men get separated by security and referees. Amazing down the line that they became the best tag team in WWE, the B team. I do not know no one to tell me different. They had the best theme songs. Don't you dare tell me that they weren't over, because they were over. Next up, Cassius Ohno goes one-on-one with Oliver Gray. This was the Cassius Ohno sparring session. Starts with a lockup. Ohno takes him down with several boots to the head. Ohno hits an uppercut and gets some elbows to the head. Gray attempts to fight back with some uppercuts of his own. Ohno hits a back elbow and applies a chin lock, and Gray taps out on a chin lock. Okay. Interesting. Cassius gets a mic, says that this was easier than expected. He also said that Oliver Gray wasn't ready. Clearly wasn't. Ohno said he'll give Gray a second chance and asks the ref to ring the bell again. Gray was literally defenseless, and Ohno hits a bull hammer and applies another submission hold with Gray tapping out again. Ohno tries to inflict further damage. Richie Steamboat makes the save, and Ohno leaves the ring. Feud's not over, but another match will definitely happen down the line. Next up, we got a very creepy Leo Kruger vignette, saying he has so much to share, and that's with an evil laugh. Said that this is going to be special with another evil laugh. Is this Timu Bray Wyatt or something like that? I don't know. I did prefer Leo Kruger over Adam Rose any day of the week, but obviously Adam Rose is going to be down the line. But anyway, Seth Rollins going one-on-one with Viktor after a confrontation from last week where Rick slaps Rollins across the face. Seth immediately goes after Viktor. Viktor backs into the corner to break up the attack. Rollins and Viktor exchange attacks as Viktor goes into the corner and once again provokes Seth. Seth goes for a takedown as Viktor dodges. Viktor gets a few rights on Seth. Seth misses a right of his own, gets taken down, applies an early headlock. There it is. Always the headlocks. Always arrive so early. Seth hits some shots. Seth goes for an Irish whip, and Viktor holds on for the chin lock. Rollins attempts 2 back suplexes, but misses. Rollins breaks up the chin lock, and Viktor rolls out of the ring. Seth goes for a suicide dive, and Viktor hits a right hand in. Viktor hits a very nice suplex and gets a 2 count as we go to commercial break. We come back from break. Viktor applies another chin lock. Viktor hits some knees to the back and continues the pressure. Rollins fights out, and it's a jawbreaker with a couple of rights. Seth hits a kick to the chest. Viktor gets a knee to the face as well. Viktor hits one and gets a 2 count. Now, for some reason, Viktor was actually biting himself. Now, he's done this twice, which is very strange. Viktor gets 3 stomps again. Again, he was biting himself, as previously mentioned. Viktor goes for an attack into the corner. Seth fights back with a shot to the face. Viktor applies more offense with some rights to the face and the stomach. Then it was the battle of the back and forth with Viktor and Seth exchanging rights. Viktor then slaps Seth again, which ignites a fury inside Seth. Seth hits some rights and an enziguri to put Viktor into the corner. Seth hits a stinger splash into the corner, knocks him down with a dropkick. Viktor gets up. Seth hits him with the blackout and picks up the win. Decent main event. Definitely wasn't as good as last week. I thought last week's main event with Tyson Kidd and Michael McGillicuddy was by far a better match. 2 different sets of styles, I guess, because obviously McGillicuddy and, Viktor is not a Michael McGillicuddy. Anyway, so that is the end of today's episode of Back to Black and Gold. Again, I apologize for this episode being up very late. I'm literally now all yours. So I'm going to try and get all these up as quick as I can for you. Regular time, 1 o'clock UK time. I don't know what time in your area. You'll just have to let me know. Anyway, thanks for watching. Like, subscribe. Peace.